Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm out here in the garage to talk about a couple things. The first thing I want to do is thank you all when it comes to your help regarding a revolver that I showed off in an upcoming projects video yesterday regarding its caliber and what it's chambered in, and I want to give you an update on that. And the other thing I want to talk about is make you guys aware, if you're not currently aware of it, there's a thing going around YouTube. And it looks like it might be affecting gun channels, but from my research and what I can tell, it's affecting a lot of different types of channels. But it looks like YouTube is disabling the comments on some videos without the creator's knowledge. But we'll talk about that in a second and what it might mean. But first off, I want to talk about this Smith & Wesson Model 53-2. I showed off yesterday, and I mentioned that the barrel is marked as a 22 Magnum, and it has two cylinders. One that's obviously for 22 Magnum right here, and then the cylinder that's currently in it, I erroneously said it was for 22 Hornet, because that's just what I had heard it was. But you all were very astute, and some of you were aware of this gun and told me it is in, I want to make sure I get this right, Remington 22 Jet Magnum. Yeah, that is a caliber I had never heard of before. I guess maybe it was like a Wildcat caliber back in the day that got enough popularity that Smith & Wesson decided to chamber a gun in it. And the ammo is really hard to find. However, the owner of this pistol, Jack, messaged me today, and he said he was able to track down some ammunition. So it looks like I'm going to get the opportunity to review this revolver in both 22 Magnum and Remington 22 Jet Magnum. I guess those are the two calibers. And I also discovered that this little thing here on the top of the hammer is for going between the firing pin hitting a rimfire cartridge and a center fire cartridge. So that is really interesting. I'm not sure how to adjust it just yet. I think you have to flip it forward, but I'll deal with this a little bit later. But that's what that is all about. So I'm learning so much about this revolver thanks to you guys. So now that we know what this thing is chambered in, you can't shoot 22 long rifle through. I guess you could, but it's not going to work right, and the cases might rupture in the 22 Magnum cylinder because 22 Magnum is a little bit thicker in the case than 22 long rifle. But 22 Magnum, I have plenty of ammo for that, so that's what I'm going to shoot with. And then if I'm able to get this kind of weird Remington 22 Jet Magnum stuff and to be able to shoot through this as well. But that is really interesting and really cool. So there you go. Thank you all for your help on that. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about what's going on YouTube. And when this started to first happen, I got a little bit anxious. I'm not going to lie, because you guys know that my original channel had some issues with YouTube, and I guess I lost my original channel. And so I've done my very best to separate my channels. The Texas Gun Vault and the Texas Gun Vault 2 are actually associated with different email addresses. So they're not linked, if that makes any sense. So what I do here is from their server side is not associated with the Texas Gun Vault. And I try to keep my ear to the ground when I start to notice weird patterns in how things are operating, either algorithmically or with how things are being approved or what type of restrictions videos are getting. And I try to pay attention to other YouTubers and what's going on. I will say, before we talk about what I started to notice, I know that election season is ramping up, and I have noticed that some channels that deal a lot with politics are starting to have videos removed, starting to get strikes, things on videos that are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. This is kind of retroactive stuff. Now, obviously, I don't really dive into the politics stuff or the conspiracy theory stuff or anything like that on either of my channels. And when I restarted the Texas Gun Vault, I kept, for the most part, Everything on the main channel, I've been very diligent about just keeping it to the facts of, not kind of mixing politics and guns. I do mainly just, firearms reviews, field strip videos, and occasionally I will do something regarding, law or the Supreme Court or some type of big gun case. But typically it's not politics in general. And I'm very certain and very careful that I always make sure that when I upload a video, I label the video correctly. So YouTube asks you a bunch of questions like, is this video contain images of children? Because there's this law called COPA. And so, and we'll talk about that in a second with some other like outdoors channels getting struck and things. But essentially, if you have a child in your video, you have to let YouTube know, and you have to let them know, is the video made for kids? But I make sure that the answer to both of those is no on the checklist. And I make sure that my videos are age restricted. So you have to be pretty much logged into YouTube to see my content. Okay? So that eliminates any possibility. It lets them know that I am age restricting it, and so that it's because it's a firearms channel, and so it's not held to the same kind of like weird scrutiny that other channels are that don't deal with firearms. And anyway, I also make sure to go by all of their community guidelines. I always use a gun in a safe environment, like a shooting range and such. I don't modify firearms. I don't do any of that stuff. I make sure to follow their rules to a T. And I have not had any problems, okay? When I first restarted the channel, there were a few videos that would get restricted based off of content. But when I had them manually reviewed, they got approved. So I have not had a single problem with my channel at all, okay? I've been very diligent about that, very careful about that. I'm very proud of that, okay? Now, I started to notice about a week and a half ago, something weird was happening with YouTube comments, okay? So, for example, I would upload a video, and it did not matter if it was on this channel or the other channel. And one of the reasons why, once again, I have the two channels separated on two totally different accounts is that I don't want something to happen on one channel, and then because of association, it gets moved to the other channel because it's all linked to the same thing. I don't know. I don't think that's how YouTube works anyway. I think every channel is kind of independent, but I did want that separation. And so I started to notice on this channel and occasionally on the main channel, whenever I had a video release, I would be able to see in the creator studio that people were commenting on the video. In fact, there was one video that I think got like 15 comments. But when I would click the comment tab so I could start to respond to the comments, it would say no comments on this video. And it would take about 2 hours to 3 hours for any of the comments to populate into the comment section. But they would eventually populate. Now, I have seen that before, and I know it's kind of a known bug on YouTube that if you comment, it might take it a minute or two for it to show up or for other people to see it. You might see it on your side because you were the one that posted it, but other people might not see it. And that's just always kind of been, I think, just kind of a server processing thing. It's not really a big deal. But normally the lag between the comment being submitted and the comment showing up where other people can see it has always been relatively short. But I started to notice that some of my comments, or people that were commenting on my videos, it was taking hours for them to show up, okay? And I did a little bit of research on what this might be, okay? And as a content creator, I've seen these trends where there is this annoying thing where the spam bots, whenever you upload a video, will post a link. It's obviously like, they're like, I made $1,000 doing this type of stock trading, blah, blah, blah. Click here and blah, blah. It's like they try to make it look like, so to get people that are watching the video to click that link to whatever, right? It's obviously spam or whatever. And YouTube did their very, very, very best to give us the ability to ban and block those people, to block links and so forth, which I take advantage of. And they also started to use their AI to where when comments like that were posted, their AI would try to determine if it's a real comment or a fake comment. And if it was a fake comment, it would immediately delete it or hide it, right? Until it could verify or whatever. Or sometimes it would go over to our comments that need review, which is a totally different tab for us as content creators. And all of a sudden, all those weird spam bots kind of dropped off the face of the earth. And what some people were saying was YouTube was making it better for content creators and I guess users alike, where when these spam bots would start to post the same comment on multiple videos, it would flag them really fast. And then that's what was causing this weird delay. And it always happens to like the latest videos that get uploaded. It will never happen to like your older videos. It's always whatever the new stuff is, which made a lot of sense. I was like, okay, so that's what's happening here. Maybe they're working some bugs out on the software, but hey, I'm not getting any of those weird spam bots. Well, good for you, good for YouTube, and I appreciate it because they get really annoying. But then about a week ago, maybe less than a week ago, I had a video that was released, and then I noticed the comments were turned off. And I thought it was me. I was like, okay, maybe I uploaded it and I didn't put the comments on. I have it as a default where they're always on. I was like, okay, well, maybe when I was editing the video or uploading it, putting all the criteria in the video, maybe I clicked the wrong thing, okay? It happens. And I made the comments public or allowed people to comment. And so I had a couple of comments on that video and didn't think anything else of it. And then all of a sudden I got an email from one of my viewers that said, hey, Jason, your comments are disabled. I said, no. I made them available again. So I went back into the content creator or the creator studio and saw that the comments were disabled again. So I changed it back. Okay, well, maybe this is another bug. Another hour went by and then the comments were disabled once again. But the video was monetized. It was approved. All the other checks that YouTube goes through were all clear. So it's not like it was a problem. And I was like, okay, well, maybe there's something going on here. And then I started to notice on kind of random videos on my channel, my main channel first, the comments were being turned off. So I would go back in and turn them back on. And some of them, when I turn them back on, they stay on. They've never gone back off. Some of them go back off again. So, of course, my anxiety level starts to kind of rise here. Like, okay, what in the hell's happening here? Okay, is this some type of YouTube censorship? But it didn't make any sense, and I went online and looked, why does YouTube disable my comments? And most of the articles I was finding were from like 5 or 6 years ago. And it was from people saying, well, if a video gets a lot of spam comments or a lot of flagged comments, they'll temporarily disable the comments on that video until they can do that. But this stuff was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I wasn't getting any spam. I wasn't getting any inappropriate comments. And I moderate my comments pretty well. So then, of course, my mind goes to, okay, they're doing something when it comes to gun content. And of course, I start to kind of worry, oh my gosh, it's only happening on one channel. But then it started to happen on this channel. In fact, I think yesterday's video, I had to enable the comments like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. It seems to still be on from yesterday's video right now, okay? So I started to looking for more recent information, and I just looked on YouTube, actually. And I found a bunch of people that are making shorts about this. And it was a lot of gun content creators. I looked up like gun channels, comments disabled. And channels anywhere smaller than mine, all the way up to people that have 200,000, 300,000 subscribers, are all saying that they're having random videos get comments disabled. And of course, people are going they're censoring gun content. But then I started to look deeper and look for YouTube disabled comments, and it turns out there's a bunch of other channels outside of firearms that are having this problem. In fact, a lot of them are like outdoors channels, and I even found a channel that, getting back to that whole COPA law, there was a guy that was making outdoors camping videos where like him and his family would go out, but then he would show how to like, make like or start a fire, like if you're going to cook and you're camping or whatever and you don't have matches or whatever. Or he would show the basics of fishing in a certain type of creek using a certain type of lure or whatever. But because he had his kids in his video, they got flagged and they had their comments disabled. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but that has to do with that whole COPA law, because it had to do with there were children in the video, but he had not listed them as children in the video, not knowing he had to. So it's weird stuff like that. So it's not just gun content creators. It's not just. It does seem to be, what's kind of weird about it though is that it does seem to be more on the content creators that might be more on the conservative side, even if they don't talk about politics. So if you're talking about guns, obviously knives, EDC stuff, outdoors stuff, that kind of stuff, it seems to be happening a lot more to these channels than other channels. So is there a political motivation to it? I don't know, but a lot of the comments on these channels are on like non-controversial things. And then I was, once again, trying to find out as much information as I can before I panic. Because I always tell you guys, calm the F down. Because I had to tell myself that. Because, of course, I'm in like full panic mode. Like, oh my God, all this work and all this time that I put into this is going to go away again. So I had to tell myself, calm the F down. So I started to look at the comments on the short videos of other content creators. And I discovered that a lot of people were saying that there's some type of known bug in the system, and the big content creators that have access to YouTube liaisons, essentially, like an intermediary. I think you have to have like 100,000 subscribers and you get access to someone that you can actually talk to at YouTube. And there's a known bug in the system, I guess, that they've recently updated some of their software and their servers. And this is a known bug. And the team that works on this bug and works on these systems recently, like, all got fired. And so it kind of makes me wonder if it was that story recently where you saw that there were a bunch of people at YouTube that got arrested and fired because they were protesting at their own office or something. Maybe that was the team. I have no idea. And so I've also reached out to some other gun content creators, like MD Polo and so forth. And I asked him on Instagram, I was like, hey, are you happening to get content or comments disabled on your videos? And he said yes. So it doesn't seem to be an attack on me personally. It does not seem to be that it's an orchestrated attack by a person. It seems to be that this is some type of YouTube issue, and it seems to be a bug that disables comments. So if you're following a lot of firearms channels and you see a new video come out and the comments are disabled, it's not because the creator doesn't want to hear from you. It's because literally YouTube is currently turning these comments off, and you have to go back in, or the creator does, go back in and constantly re-enable them over and over and over again. And when you re-enable them, you don't lose the original comments that were made when people could comment. So I've noticed that from my perspective, the videos, there's a few videos that they keep getting disabled. But other videos, they only get disabled one time, and once I re-enable them, they're perfectly fine. It's happening to both channels, and there seems to be no rhyme or reason to it. However, I will say, as of this afternoon, all of the things that I've re-enabled have stayed enabled. So I think this is a known thing, but I wanted to talk about it. So I know this is kind of a long, rambly video, a lot of weird YouTube behind the scenes kind of crap, okay? So I'm asking you guys, depending on if you're a consumer or a creator of gun content on YouTube, tell me in the comment section if my comment section is enabled, and if it's disabled, I'll continually try to re-enable it. If you're a content creator, are you noticing your comments being disabled? And if you're, and also tell me if you're a gun content creator or a non-gun content creator. So if you make non-gun content, are you finding you're having videos get disabled with comments? And then, if you're a consumer of firearms content, if you ever see any of my videos that are disabled with comments, please email me at texasgunvault@gmail.com, or try to contact me through Instagram or Facebook, preferably email, and I will enable the comments again. I would appreciate it. It would help me a lot. And then also, if you see that on other content creators' channels that you like, make sure to reach out to them, find other ways to contact them, whether it's through their Facebook, Instagram, email, whatever, and let them know about their issues. But right now, that's what's going on. So a little behind the scenes. At first, it looks like, or everybody was thinking, hey, they're attacking gun content creators. They're trying to censor us. But they're not demonetizing channels. They're not striking videos. It's just comments being disabled. So that tells me, because trust me, if they wanted to stop it all, they would just delete videos. And they're not doing that, okay? Everything's fine when it comes to all the monetization checks, the content checks. Everything's fine. It's just these comments. And that's kind of a weird way to try to censor people and get engagement. It's weird if that was the case. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But right now, I put that as only about 25% likely. But it looks like, based off of all the information I have, that comments are being disabled across YouTube because of a known issue, a known bug, and I don't know what the fix is going to be. So tell me if you're noticing that, either if you're a creator or a consumer. And that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. So I want to talk about this really interesting revolver and talk about, I'm going to get a chance to shoot it in its calibers, or it's both calibers, 22 Magnum and Remington 22 Jet Magnum, and also about these weird YouTube comments. So sorry it was kind of a boring video, but I want to make you guys aware of what's happening, because we all love to come together here around the Second Amendment and guns, and we all want to make sure that we can engage with each other when it comes to our dialogue. So anyway, that's what's going on. If my comment section is enabled, tell me what's going on in the comment section below. And what is the word of the day? The word of the day is going to be jet. Jet. Because I have never heard the word jet used in a caliber before. So there you go. Interesting video tonight. Boring behind the scenes stuff, but I needed to get it out there. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hopefully it's enabled. And as always, thanks for watching.